a wonderful place existed.
The Athenians called it
The Acropolis.
free expression, ethics, art, philosophy. The Acropolis heralded the democracy. But if I told you the Acropolis has returned. Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
New Project Veritas leaks put a smile on my face. My name is Trevor Brown, and you're watching The Trevor Report. You know, one of the reasons I really hate the corporate press is that they're duplicitous, evil scumbags who are a part of the sort of teleology of pseudo-benevolent race radicals. Because of their proselytization, okay, they are responsible for $2 billion worth of property damage in pursuit of racial power. The corporate press is completely like, I'll just say it, outright responsible, because if literally any other faction was doing this, the corporate press would say that they're responsible, as the Rolling Stone has done with the Buffalo shooter. Now, from what I've gathered from the Buffalo shooter, okay, someone who's engaging in a mass shooting where he tries to kill as many people as possible, right? That already makes him one of the worst people on the planet. Just doing something incredibly evil for the sake of doing something incredibly evil. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. I think murder is bad. I think murdering someone is like the worst thing you can do. Oh no. But anyway, and it's the same thing with CNN and even a lot of these. I'll just assume this is a sort of right-wing populist outlet. You know, it's that everybody's talking about the manifesto, and I'll just assume that these press institutions received a copy of the Buffalo shooter manifesto. Fine, I'd love to get a copy. I'd love for the Buffalo shooter, his manifesto or whatever. I'd love for that manifesto to be public, if for no other reason than to fact check the corporate press. Okay, because one of my editorial policies on theacropolisnews.com is that if one of my anonymous writers makes a claim, cite the claim and hyperlink the claim within the sentence that the claim is made. Simple as. That is my editorial policy. Okay? And that should be standard practice. However, Google, presumably at the behest of the FBI, right? The corporate press, big tech, and the security state, all of the correct actors. But anyway, the Buffalo Shooter Manifesto is not available. So all of these institutions are making claims about about him. And okay, sure, I don't like taking the corporate press's word for it, but since I can't do because I cannot do my journalistic due diligence, there we go. I'll just I guess I'll just take their word for it. It's not a stretch of the imagination that a crazy person who believes insane things did something insane. But for the Rolling Stone to go, the Buffalo shooter isn't a lone wolf, he's a mainstream Republican, and then they go into their sort of failed abortion as to why that's the case. I'm like, I've read this before. I'm not going to read it onto the thing because I got more important things to get into. Like, apparently explaining what fascism is to people, because apparently no one knows their history. No one knows their philosophy, and no one even knows the sort of historical teleology of philosophy. And they don't even seem to do that for the current ideological paradigm that we're in. Okay, for those of you who are watching and probably aren't Americans, the United States is a product of the Enlightenment. We have sort of Lockean values of government. Okay, our Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, is taken straight from John Locke's Life, Liberty, and Property. Okay. In part because having the government guarantee that everyone has property doesn't really make sense. Well, actually, okay, let me just correct myself there. The government in protecting everyone's property, right? Well, what happens if slavery and at the time slavery people had property, and the very nature of a slave is someone who does not own themselves. So Thomas Jefferson was like, this kind of creates a contradiction. So I'll just go to pursuit of happiness, and then 100 years later, Civil War, and then slavery was ended because the Republicans, the party of Lincoln, adhered to the sort of individual within the state, within the nation, and that black people in the United States cannot be slaves on a moral basis. Wow. Very, 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 very simple, but obviously not a mainstream Republican. And CNN goes into what the Buffalo shooter believes. The Rolling Stone goes into what the Buffalo shooter believes. This institution, because apparently, from screenshots of his manifesto, apparently is that he was that the whole Azov battalion thing was, because he's a fascist. He called basically mainstream Republicans, he called them some variation of Jew, which sounds like neo-Nazi stuff. He rejected Christianity, which, fascism being a product of the Enlightenment, being Christianity is a religion and is therefore parochial and therefore not a part of the supremacy of reason, and fascists are just on a socialist. You could just read fascist literature where they basically, well, they don't basically say, they say exactly, we are on a socialists. And it's like he was motivated by eco-fascism. Again, I'd love to just read the manifesto, and then at the time I would have gotten it, and then I would have been able to read about 106 pages, because I have college work I have to do. I have the business I need to manage, and the sort of Trevor Report channels that I need to manage, but I'd be done with it in about 6 days time. And to be honest, I could probably have skipped several pages because I would have understood what he was going through, because I like to not have ideological blind spots. It's why I read a lot of ideological texts. I've read I've read basically throughout the entire lockdowns, I've sort of educated myself on pretty much every Enlightenment ideology, and that's when I kind of realized that the Enlightenment is not the be all end all, and there are actually some things that human beings need to be concerned with that aren't merely just Enlightenment principles. But anyway, since I have to explain to people what fascism is, because people think fascism is right wing, which is, I'm just gonna come out and say it. Illiterate. It is historically and philosophically illiterate. Okay, to say that fascism is right wing. Okay, let's start off with what people associate fascism with, which is Nazi Germany. Now, the National Socialists and the fascists are very, very similar, but they have a few differences, which I will get into in a moment. Okay, but the Communist Manifesto repeatedly goes off on how Germany is on the cusp of a dictatorship of the proletariat, a communist revolution, and the blah 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 blah. Okay, like this was. Okay, this is what Karl Marx, like, it shows up a lot. Okay? It shows up a lot in the Communist Manifesto, and we all know what happened to Germany in the mid 20th century. I hope I don't have to explain to my fellow Americans what happened during World War II. I really hope so. And then there is Antonio Gramsci. Now, Antonio Gramsci was imprisoned by the Italian fascists for being too radical. But the thing is, he's getting into exactly what the fascists got into. Okay, if you don't know, and I recommend reading Zeev Sternhill's Fascist Ideology in France. It's written by a European Jewish liberal who spent time in these concentration camps, right? Jewish as in like that's his religion. Liberal being his politics. You know, he sort of agrees with like American principles, like with like Locke and things like that. And then he's from continental Europe. I forget which country Zeev Sternhill is from. It might be Eastern Europe. It might just it might be continental Europe. I don't remember that detail. But basically, Antonio Gramsci is getting into basically what the French fascists realized, and they essentially realized that what happened in Russia was something completely terrible. Oh my God, this isn't what we meant by dictatorship of the proletariat. This isn't what we meant by blah 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 blah. It's supposed to overthrow capitalism. It was okay. Capitalism was supposed to happen before the communist revolution, blah 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 blah. And Russia at this time was a feudal society. So it basically, the thing that happened in Russia completely and totally refuted what happened in like what the communists thought was going to happen all across the world. Okay, and then Antonio Gramsci was like, "Wow, this Soviet Union looks terrible. You know, I think we should And then Antonio Gramsci was like, so anyway, it's not capitalism that makes society terrible. It's society that's terrible. Society puts everyone into prison. If only we abolished society. If only we had a war of position to subvert liberal democracy. Which, yikes! Don't do that, by the way. That's very, very not good. But and then we have in Nazi Germany, okay, the communists joined the the communists ended up joining the fascists, and the people who were fascists first, they were called beefsteak Nazis. What Fascism, National Socialism. Okay, and by the way, Hitler was inspired by Das Kapital. Okay, fascism, Nazism. Okay, Marxist-Leninism, which was the Soviet Union, and Marxism. What they're trying to do is they're trying to bring about the supremacy of reason in all places and all times. Okay, Nazism, fascism, and communism is all real socialism. It is merely different methods as of doing it. Okay, the Communist Manifesto is a international international socialism. Okay, Nazism is it's in the name. It is socialism for the nation. Okay, and fascism in the Italian sense, in the French sense, that never manifested, and in Antonio Gramsci's sense with his wars of position, it is all about trying to bring about the supremacy of reason in society in order to bring about the supremacy of reason in all places and all times. After all, it is not just that some have while others have not. Okay, and obviously, since this has led to the deaths of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, as a conservative estimate, okay, this is why this is categorically a bad idea. Not, okay, and in order to understand all this, like, I've had to read, like, I don't know how many books I've had to read to understand this, but I've culminated this knowledge before. This isn't the first time I've culminated this. Okay, there's a clip of a show that I did on the Critical Introverts podcast where I explain what nationalism, what fascism, Nazism, and communism is. I basically go into this, but I don't really go into the historical detail, and I am a bit quicker with it on the Critical Introverts podcast. I also break down why the left calls everyone Nazis in that podcast, but I recommend just going to theacropolisnews.com because the Critical Introverts podcast is a part of the Acropolis affiliate program, and just going over to scrolling down, clicking the show, watching the show because the show is good. And I'd love to dive down into more detail, but I do have a 30-minute time limit, and I have 3 more segments I need to get into. So I'm just going to get into those segments real quick. But before we get into that, a quick word from this segment's sponsor. This segment of the Trevor Report is sponsored by NordVPN. Click the affiliate link down below in the description in order to experience all of NordVPN's wide-ranging offers that help protect you and your internet privacy at an affordable price. All right, now that we're back, let's get into it. Project Veritas. Okay, I don't know what to call them. We need to give them nicknames. But there's a senior engineer at Twitter who says that Twitter is commie as F. Project Veritas published a news story on Monday featuring footage of Twitter senior engineer Siru Murugis, unpronounceable last name, how employees at the tech company hate Elon Musk impending acquisition of Twitter among several other explosive sound bites, leaving no doubt to one of the primary sources of the rift between Musk and employees on Twitter. Murchison at one point says, quote, "Twitter does not believe in free speech. Elon Musk believes in free speech. Our jobs are at stake. He's a capitalist, and we aren't really operating as capitalists. We're more like very socialist. Like, we're all like commie as F." Murchison on attempts to prevent the Musk deal, quote, "We did all we could to like revolt against it. A lot of employees were revolting against it. I don't know if two parties can truly coexist on the platform. On Twitter, offering equal access to both parties. They're like, this would be my last day if this happens. A lot has changed. Like, we're stress eating a lot. Like, we're all worried about our jobs." And you could just watch it for yourself in all of its 7-minute glory. It's great. It's so great. It's so good. But we got another one. I'm pretty sure there's a third part because Project Veritas does have a sort of rule of three when they do this. I can't wait for the third part to come out. But there's this other guy. This guy right here, he's so much funnier. This one is so much funnier. Basically, Martinez, right now we don't make profit, so I'm trying to say ideologically, which is what led us to not being profitable. The rest of us who have been here believe in something that's good for the planet and to not give people free speech, which yikes. People don't know how to make a rational decision if you don't put it out. Correct things that are supposed to be out in public. Whoa! Manufacturing consent from our identitarian betters. Elon Musk as a person is whatever. I don't like he's a Looney Tune and he has Asperger's. He has Asperger's, so he's special. We all know that. And that's fine. So here, no wonder he's going to say something effing crazy S because he's special. Good God. I can't trust what this person is saying. He's born wrong. Jeez. You don't have to be so rough. You don't have to be so left wing about it. Right now, oh, sorry. I think I've already read that. People don't know how to make a rational decision. Oh, I've already read that. He has Asperger's, so he's special. We all know that, and that's fine. So here, no wonder he's going to say some effing crazy S because he's special. And you can watch this in its 7-minute glory once again. And basically, he towards the end of this, he's basically like, I don't know how else to describe this. It's so funny. Just watch it. He basically, towards talking to this Project Veritas journalist, he then says people at Twitter are super freaked out by Project Veritas journalists. Look, Project Veritas journalist, here's the email. And then to top it all off, the Project Veritas journalist pronounces Veritas as Spanish. He goes Veritas. He's like, "What is this Project Veritas?" It's so gold. And then he shows the Project Veritas journalist the email. Oh, this is so good. This is great. This is great. This puts a smile on my face. But anyway, let's continue putting a smile on everyone's faces, and then I'll end on, I guess, a neutral note. Elon Musk announces he's switching his vote to Republican. He's not going to vote for Democrats anymore, and well, that's because he's a normal person. Anyway, the Pennsylvania. I'm gonna hit refresh on this, and hopefully the the GOP Senate results are called. Okay, the GOP Senate results haven't been called yet, but the Trump endorsee candidate Douglas Mastriano or whatever, he was he won, and he won by a landslide. Now, this isn't an election. This is a primary, and in some cases, primaries are actually more important than actual elections. And the reason for this is, see this right here, Democrat Josh Shapiro. I know absolutely nothing about Josh Shapiro, but he ran unopposed in a primary. That should never happen under any circumstances. That's ridiculous. Okay, and it's the same thing for this Democrat right here, Ashley Ihaz, however you pronounce that last name, won by default because she was unopposed. Chrissy Howlahan or whatever, she won because she was completely unopposed. Susan Wild, Democrat, completely unopposed and won because of it. Mike Doyle, completely unopposed and won because of it. Sean Malloy and Chris. That wasn't a win by default. But like, there should never be wins by defaults in elections. That's not an election. That's dumb. Now, from the results as of now, right, 95% of the votes have been tallied. It seems that Dr. Oz is gonna win, and I think Dr. Oz was endorsed by Trump. I'm not sure. I don't remember, and I don't completely care. But Douglas was appointed. Sorry, not appointed. Endorsed by Trump, and the Associated Press has called that race. And to be fair, with access to this data, I call this race as well. Douglas has won the primary. So it doesn't seem like Trump endorsing a candidate makes people vote for that candidate. In the case of Douglas, it resulted in a landslide. In the case of Dr. Oz and Cormac and Kathy Barnett, not so much. It hasn't been called yet. Again, I'm gonna refresh this one last time. Okay, it is 10:56 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it still hasn't been called yet. So I'm not gonna give any say here or there. Okay, I just want to whoever's in the 6th district of Pennsylvania, right? Which is also, by the way, the incumbent seat. Like, get on that. Get on that. You know, whoever's in the who's in the 12th district of Pennsylvania. Get on that. No one should ever run unopposed. That's not how this works. This is stupid. Anyway, whatever. In the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown, and you just watched the Trevor Report. Do click the Linktree that I made myself down below in the description, because my Linktree was banned for opposing black nationalism, so I made my new one down below in the description. This video is sponsored by Acropolis News Network, the world's first fully independent media organization that is powered by Liberty platforms, peer-to-peer advertising, and cryptocurrency. On Acropolis News Network, we have a different standard of journalism. We allow anonymous reporting like Project Veritas. We also have a few anonymous reporters. Not going to say how many of them there are, and I'm not going to say who they are because they're, anonymous. But more importantly, if you subscribe to a membership subscription onto Acropolis News Network, not only will you get access to a ton of premium content that'll be coming out very soon, and a bunch of premium content that's already available on the site right now, you will also help fund our fully independent journalism and our academic contributions to society. If you do so, I would greatly appreciate it. You can also click the donate button over on any of the Acropolis News posts. I, as the chief editor, would greatly appreciate it because, well, it helps us stay independent, like I said, and that's part of our brand. And if you would like that to stay as a part of our brand, well, I would greatly appreciate it.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
All of you brilliant viewers out there, my name is Trevor Brown. I am the editor-in-chief of Acropolis News Network because I can give myself whatever name and title I want because I own it. And you could go to theacropolisnews.com or you could go to ThisJustTrevor on whatever Liberty platform is your choice. You know, except for the ones I'm not on because I haven't seen them pretty much.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.